Is over, and the nature of this is it's a strange one, this Baker. It's called a Baker because each man will have to bowl, and rather than go frame by frame, Europe will bowl their 10, and then they will set the target for the United States, and at the end of it, the team with the highest aggregate will win the point. So Torgerson with the first ball of the Weber Cup, and it's a good one. It's a strike.
Well, let's hope that this has set the tone for the tournament as a whole. We've got fantastic bowlers out there, and this is exactly what we'd expect.
The hand belongs to Steve Thornton. And it's a very strange format because nobody can get into a rhythm or a groove or anything, can they? You've just got these, basically you've got 2 frames each. So, you know, there's no kind of checking out the lane or anything else. It's quite a pressurised situation for these bowlers.
That's right, Nick. You don't have, you know, 10 frames to work out the adjustments and get the ball into the pocket. You've got to get it right straight away, otherwise you could hurt your team badly.
Thornton leaves a couple to the right. It should be a routine spare, although how many times have we said that before, only to see somebody leave one standing.
Steve wasn't looking too happy with his 2 practice deliveries. His first ball went wide of the head pin, and then his adjustment came up heavy just like that one, so he's yet to find his range on the lane. And
when we've seen Steve in the past, he is a slow-ish starter, so this particular format, this Baker format, doesn't do him any favours whatsoever. But he needs to make sure of this. He does. So a spare ball on frame 2. So the pressure switches to the Dutchman, Nico team point. As we see the spare go through from Thornton. Team point takes a long look at this one. Bounces the ball down the lane, and with good effect. The 10-pin hung around for a little while, but it went. And high fives, or low five should I say, all round.
And this is a steady start from Team Europe. Strikes, spare strikes, and they're clean, and they haven't lost any pins on spare counts.
And so it's Gary Verbruggen. The other 4 members of Team Europe have all bowled in this venue, on this lane, but this is a new experience, I believe, for Verbruggen, the left-hander from Belgium. So how does he cope with all these cameras and all these lights? Well, there's your answer.
And there's the first double of the Weber Cup.
Pressure? What pressure?
I think Gary has actually played on this lane once before in an AMF World Masters, Nick. So I don't think he's a complete stranger, but he hasn't got the experience that some of them have.
And he certainly doesn't have the experience of the man that's getting ready to bowl now. The Team Europe skipper, Thomas Leanderson. If ever there was a man for the pressure situation, it's him. Not that this is a high pressure situation, but can he keep this run of strikes going? There's the answer. Bit lazy that 10, but it went.
Well, this is an excellent start from Team Europe now. There's the turkey for them. They're currently running at about 219 to 220 pace. It should be a tough target for the Americans, but they've got the advantage of watching what's happening here. They'll be able to read something into the way the Europeans are playing.
So at the halfway point, the Europeans, led by Tim Mack on the left, don't look too bothered by it all, do they? So 3 strikes in a row, 4 out of 5. And here's Torgerson from Stavanger. He's won everything there is to win in the game. He's helping his team off to a good start here.
Well, this really is impressive stuff from a European team. They've all had one shot except for Tora, who's had two. Up next is Steve Thornton, who is the only person who hasn't struck so far, so this is a key shot for the European team.
This is amazing, the consistency they've found already. And it's not as if Thornton bowled a bad ball in his first one either. It was just left a couple up, and it was a routine spare for him. But I guess it puts a bit of pressure on him. He's seen all his teammates get a strike. He's not going to be the guy, he's not going to want to be the guy that breaks that sequence. So, can he keep the string going? Oh, how unlucky can you get? Look at that. The 9-pin all over the place, but still upright. It's still wobbling down there.
And Steve's smiling there, but he's not happy with this shot. He's crossed over the head pin. You'd say he's a bit unlucky not to strike because the 9-pin was hit quite hard, but he didn't really get the ball where he wanted it on the lane. But the important thing is that, providing he spares, he hasn't undone the good work that's been done by the previous 4 strikes.
Oh, now that just changed everything. And that was a bad ball.
And now Steve has to sit down and watch. And that's the tough part about this Baker format. There's 2 frames, and then you just sit down and you watch what happens, and it's very hard to do. It requires a different psychology to the normal way of playing.
So Team Pont with nothing to build on now. Frame 8. And the European team really need a strike here from the Dutchman, and they get it. He delivers. Team Pont back in the zone.
Well done, Nico. Good shot here. Just outside the 4th arrow, going out quite wide, out to about the 7 board. Right back to a flush pocket hit, which is around about the 17 board, so you can see he's hooking the ball quite a distance out there.
There's the score. It could have been a bit better than that had Thornton not left that open frame. Verbruggen, the 9th frame, always so important. It's a foundation for the strong finish. Oh yeah, nice hook. The left-hander looks right at home in this company.
Yes, that's a fantastic ball from Gary. Just what Europe needed after Steve's open. They come fighting back with a double. They're currently running about 227 pace. But can actually hit a maximum of 247. Definitely Anderson needs to strike out.
So the 10th frame, so important. And it's the skipper that's taken the responsibility of this frame 10 on himself. And there's one of them. So he's given himself the opportunity for another 2 strikes here, which, as you say, Richard, would give him 247. That's a pretty decent target if he can get it to that.
Yes, but even 237 is going to be tough to beat. 237 is a tough score to beat when you know that's what you have to do. And 247 will be even tougher. So it's a very big ball for Europe here.
It's a pretty respectable score already. The Anderson looking to make it close to insurmountable. Oh, have some of that. And this is going to be a pretty good score, whatever. It's going to be 240 something, whatever.
Absolutely, and if somebody said to you before you started, would you take 247 and let the opponent shoot at it? And you said yes, more often than not you would win. So this is a really tough target for Team USA.
The amazing thing is it's all been achieved with that open frame as well. There was even more here for the Europeans, who've made a sizzling start to this World Cup. And Thomas Lee Anderson finishes with 3 in a row. And they've set the bar pretty high in this first game of this Weber Cup, the Europeans.
They certainly have. good mix on the pins there from Thomas. Not quite perfect in the pocket, but a lot of power on the ball, sending the pins all over the place. Steve Thornton must be feeling a bit gutted as the only person who didn't actually strike every one of his shots there. But nonetheless, it's still a fantastic score and one that's going to be tough to beat.
And interestingly, they've changed the order that they practiced in. It's Michael Mullin up first.
It might be because Michael didn't have a particularly good practice.
So here's Mullin to start the United States Challenge. Well, they've done a bad practice ball, but nothing wrong when it was for real. So just like Team Europe, the Americans start with a strike.
Mike played a little bit further inside than he played in practice. And that's a perfect strike. Right into the pocket. Not a lot of damage.
So the tactical switch from skipper Tim Mack has paid a dividend, and here's the man we expected to be the lead-off man, Dino Castillo. The Texan. Comes into this with a league average of 232. Anybody in the world would take that. Use the 10. A little wry smile and a look as if to say, well, I didn't do too much wrong with that.
And he certainly didn't. This ball's right in the pocket. And you see the 6 pin there going into the gutter in front of the 10.
But that actually gives them a 1-point advantage. Potentially, if there's a strike here. Big man, Tony Manna, steps up. Very wide, hits the hook. And amazingly, Europe being matched here and indeed bettered by the United States. Strike 8 and a spare and a strike for Europe, a strike 9 spare and a strike for Team USA.
As the score goes, they stand exactly level. They've matched them and bettered them in shot making, but not in scoring as yet.
Hoffman. Oh, I say.
And this is a crucial phase of the game for Team USA. They've got 2 strikes and they're still matching Europe frame for frame, but there's another 2 strikes coming up from Europe that they have to match to stay in contention. Then they've got that weak frame where Steve Thornton missed a single pin, where they can really launch an attack on that 247.
Mack blasts his ball down the lane. Midway point. Neck and neck. Trust the Americans to respond to a challenge. I always think the American psyche, they're better at chasing something rather than trying to set something. And collectively, they've really risen to this occasion. Chasing that 247, Mack leading the way. And this is the switch that Mack made, bringing Michael Mullin up first. And Mullin delivered in frame 1. Here in frame 6, can he do it again? Goes wide, and thank you very much. So they've matched them, and now this is the frame 7 that was left open last time. So this is the opportunity for the Americans.
Yes, if they can strike with this next shot, they're going to steal a 23 pin advantage. But Europe still have a strong finish that the USA have to contend with, so it isn't all over by any means.
Castillo will know that this was the frame that Europe left open. So anything better than that, and he has served his team well. Ooh, left the 7. And again, he was a bit unlucky.
Very, very unlucky. You would have expected Dino to have made one of his 2 shots into a strike, but this time he's left the other corner pin, and once again a pin grazes it, but didn't hit it hard enough.
This is the one that Thornton left open. Castillo batters that pin into submission. Tim Mack, big smile from the skipper. He was pleased.
Right, well, with 3 to go, effectively USA are leading by 13 pins. But Europe never failed to strike from this point on, so realistically, USA are also in a must-strike situation, otherwise they could still end up losing.
So the pressure on the baseball-loving big man from Nebraska. Got a very distinctive style, Tony Manna, and it works.
Well, Tony has a nickname of the fridge, but I wouldn't say he was quite as big as William Perry, Nick.
Nobody is as big as William Perry. The Anderson and Torgerson can only sit and watch. Not too bothered, of course. Very, very early days in this best of 35 match Weber Cup. And all the focus is now on Bill Hoffman. Oh, Hoffman just sets it up for his skipper. Look at this. So it all comes down to Tim Mack. This is just the way he would have written this script himself. There's the one. Another one of those, and it's first blood. Team USA.
Well, he can afford to have any sort of spare now. He doesn't actually need the next strike. Oh, sorry, yes he does. Because if he has 9 miss, it's going to be a tie.
So this, the ball, to give the United States the first point of this Weber Cup. Wide, and here's the price. Well, 9 down. What does that do for the scoring, Richard?
Well, he must spare it.
What an unusual circumstance. Tim Mack with the pressure on, everything focused on him, and he didn't find a good ball. One of his best. This really should be a matter of routine. It is.
That was the ball that clinched it for the USA. Well, that one went right down to the wire.
It certainly did, didn't it? The very last ball, that missed, would have made life very interesting, but Mack made sure it didn't. And the United States win this first match of the Weber Cup by just 1 pin. And if